Top three qualifiers for the FIA Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix. In third place, Pierre Gasly. In second place, Carlos Sainz, and taking his third pole position of the season and the fourth of his Formula One career, our pole sitter, George Russell. Very well done, George. It was a brilliant final lap. Just how satisfying is it to put together a lap like that around such a challenging racetrack?
Yeah, incredibly satisfying, and especially knowing the car's been so quick all weekend. You know, as a team, we've topped every single session, and nevertheless, when you get to Q3, you know what's happened beforehand has no influence whatsoever. So the pressure kind of is ramped up, and you know, it's a little bit touch and go for a moment because with the change to front wing, I wasn't sure if I was going to get the last lap, but then it was a super strong lap, especially the first two sectors. And just really, really pleased to secure the pole.
You asked to go late, you asked the team to go late. How much did the track ramp up during Q3?
Massively. I think probably between the very first car and the very last car who does their lap, it's probably over a tenth. It's probably the biggest track ramp of the whole season, so I wanted to put it all on the line. And, you know, it's high risk. I knew that if there were no yellow flags, then we would, you know, we had the possibility to be on the front row. But ultimately as well, you want to say thanks to the guys in the garage to get the front wing changed so quick as well, because as I said, I touched the wall in the first run and we could have missed that last run altogether.
Now, George, this is your third pole position of the season so far, but it goes against the recent run of form. So can we discuss why? Why is the Mercedes so quick this weekend?
I'd love to tell you, to be honest. It's been a real surprise for all of us, and it's something we need to really review, because this is an outlier circuit. We haven't done anything out of the ordinary specifically for Vegas, but for whatever reason the conditions, the layout is playing in our favor, and I'm kind of scratching my head as to why. You know, we'll ride with it for the time being. But as I said, if you're quick in Vegas, it's a bit of a one-off circuit. So we need to understand. And of course, one of our other poles was in Canada as well, which was very cold, street circuit-esque too. So there's a small trend.
If you were to put it down to one thing, would you say it's temperatures? No, to be honest. No, I think there's been no secret we've been struggling with a bit of understeer this season, and the track in Vegas, you're sliding around quite a lot, and maybe that's been a small factor, that the understeer limitation has been less noticeable here. But there's certain corners where this car is performing so well, and especially in the first sector, the car feels absolutely on rails, especially through the third corner. And as I said, we need to nail down after the weekend and maybe even into the winter why it's been working so good. All right, look, final one. What about the race then? How is the long run pace of the car?
Well, I think the long run for everybody has been very challenging on the medium and the soft. There's a lot of graining. We saw the same last year, but I expect the hard tyre to be very resilient. But not one single driver has run the hard tyre as yet this whole weekend, so you're going to be learning on the fly. It's going to be probably surviving that first stint and going from there. But you know, here in Vegas, anything can happen. It's a long race. There was a timely safety car for a number of people last year, and we also saw that last race in Brazil. So, you know, right now I'm very happy, very satisfied, but I'm not taking anything for granted going into tomorrow.
All right, very well done today. Good luck tomorrow. Thank you, George. Carlos, let's come to you now. Great job as well by you. Unlike last year, you get to keep P2 on the grid. Just how good was the lap? How good was the car, first of all?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it must have been a good lap. My previous best lap time was a 32.7, so I went down 0.3 on that lap, and it felt good. I was pushing the limits. At one point, I thought I had pole position because I thought I was one of the last ones to cross the line, but then suddenly they told me George was coming, and I knew that the Mercedes had been quick all weekend. They've been a bit of a step ahead of us, especially on a single lap. And I knew at that point that George could take it. No, they've been particularly quick in sector 1. We're taking 3 or 4 tenths on them every single lap, and even if my lap from sector 2 and 3 onwards is very good, it just looks like sector 1 they've been a bit too strong for us. But tomorrow everything changes. Everyone will be running on grain tires, on high fuel, and very different situation as today, and it will be everything open again.
So George has just said that he's surprised by Mercedes' pace around here. Are you about where you were expecting to be?
Yeah, I think when you see our gap to McLaren and Red Bull, we out-qualified them, and we were stronger than the 2 teams that we've been fighting recently. But suddenly there's been a new invite to the party, and it's been clearly George and Lewis all weekend topping the timesheets. So yeah, I think going into quali, I knew they were probably going to be ahead. So yeah, to be only a tenth of George and on just next to him for the race is, I think, pretty much the maximum we could do today.
Carlos, let's throw it forward to the race then. Turn 1, first of all, was treacherous last year. A few people were turned around. Do you expect the same tomorrow?
Well, I think the race is not won or lost in turn 1. At the same time, I feel like this year there's more grip in turn 1 than there was last year. And so, yeah, let's see. The thing with Vegas is we might wake up tomorrow and the track might be completely dirty again like it was in FP3, and we're only doing laps to a grid, but we are not passing through turn 1. So no one's going to know what amount of grip is in turn 1. Hopefully I get a good start, and obviously I can get George into turn 1, but obviously at the same time there's so little grip and so many unknowns and so much possibility of overtaking around Vegas that it's also down to a very long race. So let's see.
So much possibility. Do you think you have the pace, the raw pace, to be faster than George tomorrow?
I think tomorrow we should have the pace to fight for the win. At the same time, there's too many unknowns to confirm or deny that. A lot of it will be graining limitation, who can control the graining better. But even if we might see some teams struggling a lot on medium tires, then the hard resets everything again because no one's run the hard. And we know that we are not the best team on hard tires this season. So, yeah, too many unknowns to tell, but I'm confident that we can fight for the win.
Okay, great job. Thank you very much. Now, Pierre, great to see you. I'm just thinking back to the Bahrain Grand Prix when you guys were on the back row of the grid, and here you are before the end of the season in the top 3. Just how satisfying is this moment for you, first of all?
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible, you know, as a team. Exactly as you mentioned, we started Bahrain on the last row with both cars, and all of a sudden the last few weeks have been quite a change. I'm really happy and pleased with the work the team has been doing on a season where everything looked impossible, just to still stick together and put some more performance in that car. So going into qualifying today, I must admit we never thought we'll be in a position to actually get in that top 3, but yeah, I managed to have a very special lap at the right time on that last set in Q3, and it's a very nice surprise.
Pierre, the car has been much improved since you introduced the upgrade in Austin, but why do you think it's so effective here in Las Vegas?
I mean, we went with a pretty aggressive package in terms of downforce, so we're running very little downforce around this track, which we try, to maximize the straight lines. We obviously make our life slightly harder in the corners, but I think it's a challenging track. It's very cold conditions. It's quite an outlier in the season, but I had a nice feeling in the car since P1, P2 went well, P3 went well. And then in that Q3, we managed to make it work with only one set of new tire as well. So there was, definitely some good pace. And for now, I'm very pleased. Obviously, it's only qualifying, but I think it's probably the first time I qualify in the top 3, and it feels like it was a special one.
And you've out-qualified the top 4 in the World Championship. Do you think you can stay ahead of them in the race?
Well, at the minute, that's not really what I'm thinking about. I think we know where the target is for us. We fighting Haas and AlphaTauri in the constructor. Obviously, whatever happened in that quali is is amazing. It feels good to be in front of Max and McLaren and these guys. But at the end of the day, it's not our fight. So we'll give our best shot tomorrow. Exactly as Carlos said, it's a challenging one around here with the grading. So we'll make sure we do our homework tonight to maximize the chances tomorrow. But for sure, from P3 we increase our chances to get some good points.
All right, thank you for that. Right, let's open this to the floor if we have any questions. Yep.
Luke Smith from The Athletic. George, it's been a trend this season that Mercedes tends to be really, really quick on a Friday, but then struggles to gain more pace going through Saturday and Sunday. Did that leave you maybe a little bit sceptical after how strong yesterday was, whether you'd be able to carry that through into today? And what was the confirmation knowing that, hey, actually we are this quick?
Yeah, I'd say the trend that we've seen this season of being quicker, or let's say at the upper end of a time sheet, probably been down more to the fact that our rivals use a bit more fuel, probably not using their high power. Whenever our strategists have done the review, we normally end up qualifying where they predicted we'll be after practice. It's just when you see the timesheets, it's maybe a little bit more flattering. But this weekend, it was a slightly different again because the track was so different in FP1 and FP2. The lap times were probably 4 or 5 seconds quicker come qualifying. And it's a very challenging decision on a Thursday night when the car is working well. You don't want to touch it, but you know it's going to be totally different tomorrow, and you need to make some changes to follow the track improvement. So, yeah, as I said, we're still scratching our heads a little bit as to why, but it's been a great weekend so far.
Thank you, George. Any more? Yes, please. Yep.
Jesus Balseiro, Diarias, for Carlos. The cars you have surrounding you tomorrow haven't been fighting for wins recently, Mercedes and Alpine. So which cars or drivers do you think you'll be fighting for the win tomorrow? I mean, maybe McLaren and Max, who are behind?
No, I think we are genuinely fighting for the win with Mercedes tomorrow. They went through a run of winning, I think, 3 consecutive races in mid-season, and whenever they get it together, they are very, very fast, and the fastest, like they've shown today. So I think we're definitely going to fight George. I think Pierre, if he keeps these lap times, why not? And of course, Charles behind in P4, and who is P5? Max.
Max.
Maybe with his higher downforce car can take a better care of the tires and the graining, and then suddenly he can get in the mix also. So I think we're fighting many cars, and I think that is the beauty of Formula One nowadays, is that we went into this qualifying with 4 teams being capable of taking pole position, 4 teams capable of winning tomorrow if you put everything together, and that's a great thing for F1, I think.
Thank you. Another one, please.
Ben Hunt, Autosport. Gentlemen, I just wondered your opinion. You got to meet the race director for the first time last night. I just wondered what your first impressions were on him and what he had to say to you.
I'd say positive, to be honest. I think we've been through a little bit of an era where our comments are taken on board, but very little change happens. And for example, a number of drivers spoke about the track limits at the exit of turn 4. We felt it was a little bit unnecessary on a street circuit. He made a change to it, in the moment. And I think that's what we want to see as drivers. We want to be heard, and we want to see action taken straight away. So, I mean, so far it's been positive.
Carlos?
Yeah, he's been given a massive task to come into a season with 3 races left, and race director, I think, is such a complicated role in Formula One, which you have so many variables to control, that I think he's been given a very difficult task. But honestly, the first weekend, straight from the go, I think he's been really good. I think the driver's briefing yesterday was one of the best we've had in a long time, and George commented on turn 3 exit. I will say we also asked for some changes on the pit entry to make the line more visible, because we literally couldn't see the pit entry line, so we were very, very worried about that. And today we turned up to the track and the pit entry line was widened, was put a blue line, and we were all saying this was really nice, because they did a very nice change and very good, with a very good approach. And the way we were listening yesterday was honestly also, a very positive meeting, and I'm encouraged by that.
Yeah, I think they summed it up. It's been great start and great to see good communication. So far, very positive.
Okay, thank you all three. Do we have any more? Yes, another one.
Lukeson from The Athletic. Carlos, with both you and Charles starting ahead of the McLarens tomorrow, how big an opportunity is this? I know you said that Qatar might be a bit of a more difficult weekend for you, so is it crucial to really maximise tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about Qatar, because if you see turn 1 and turn 3, it's exactly the type of corner you have in Qatar. Fourth, fifth gear, long combined, which is exactly where we've been struggling. And just in that sector today to the Merc, we were three tenths off. So if you keep adding those corners up, could be a tough one for us in Qatar. So tomorrow is a good opportunity to get points, because we might lose them in Qatar. So I think we're going to go into the race trying to win, because that's what we need to target. Also knowing McLaren is behind, and with the two cars try and get the maximum points possible, because we know in order to beat McLaren, we're probably going to go through a weekend in Qatar where we're also losing points. So we need to make sure we gain them, and knowing that they are 30-something points ahead, that is quite a lot.
Thank you, Carlos. Another one, yes, please, here at the front.
Kevin Scheurer, motorsporttotal.com. A question to Carlos following up on it. Are you and Charles both on the same page when it comes to battling each other in order to maximize the points? Is it all set?
I think we are both the first one interested in winning the constructors. I'm not going to lie, I think we're both very motivated to do so, and we are collaborating with each other more than ever before. Also because I'm very far off him in the championship with the 2 or 3 zeros that I had this season, and even though I'm driving well, I think there is not personal battles for the Drivers' Championship going on, and this means that we have a common interest of clinching the constructors, because we both have that left for us now in the championship, and we are collaborating more than ever before, as I said, and cooperating as much as we can, and we will go into tomorrow knowing that is the number one priority.
Okay, another one, please.
Ben Waterworth, Royal Sports Australia. Question to all three. We're meant to have the warmest day of the weekend tomorrow. Are you expecting that to affect the performance of the car in the race tomorrow at all?
I think it will only help the tyre graining, which we're only expecting to see on probably the medium tyre, but from probably lap 15, 20 onwards, it's not going to make a big impact.
Carlos?
Me? I've seen also it's going to be a lot windier. So you know how much these cars get affected by the wind. So you have warmer, but also windier. I heard also that big winds are going to be headwind down the back straight, so that could make DRS and slipstreaming more important tomorrow. So throwing even more variables into the equation with the wind, with the dust maybe coming to the track. So I think could be a different day or interesting day.
Yeah, same. I think it's going to make it. We know it's challenging. We've seen last year, and I think tomorrow conditions going to be even, let's say, more challenging. So it brings opportunities, and that's the way I see it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks all. Another one. Yep.
Hi, Sahil Kapoor, NBC. I want to ask all three of you, 3 different cars on the podium this time. Looking ahead to the next year, do you think any team enters as a favorite, or do you think it'll be unpredictable? Is that unpredictability good for F1?
Next year. Pierre, let's start with you.
I think it's great to see Alpine in the top 3. That's what I can tell. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the championship, I think it's been tighter than ever this year. So obviously we'll love to be in the battle more often, but as a motorsport fan as well, I must say it's enjoyable when you have this unpredictability in terms of results. You get 3-4 teams fighting for race wins. Hopefully we can keep that going into next year, which I think we won't see massive surprises in terms of performance, but hopefully the grid can get even closer and we can get a bit more different faces for you guys to sit for the top 3 after quali and the races more often.
Yeah, I hope Williams comes as a favorite, but no, I think Ferrari, McLaren favorites for next year. Max, you always need to count him for as a favorite, and then if Merck discover why they won 3 races in a row and why they are on pole here, they're going to be favorites also. So I think it just shows that it could go anywhere. When you have 4 teams within 2 tenths and they have a whole winter to work on the car and improve the car, those 2 tenths could quickly switch around and create a different favorite. So all 4 teams for me could be in the fight.
All right, thank you. Yes?
Thank you, Lorenza. Just a question for all 3. Just curious about what is your routine like, for diet, etc. Night race versus a day race. Do you change anything in your routine?
Carlos, start with you.
Well, I will go to sleep at 4 a.m., wake up at 12. I think today I woke up at 12. So as late as possible, basically, because if not, the day becomes so long that you arrive to the night very tired. And I've been changing my sleeping routine 1 hour more or less every day that I spend here. I managed to go to sleep an hour later, wake up an hour later, and tomorrow I'll try and wake up at 1. Apart from that, you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner according to that timetable. So my breakfast is at 2 p.m., lunch is at 7, dinner is in an hour or 2. So yeah, it's weird, but for me, it's just how the day works here. And I want to keep everything as a normal weekend, getting the same amount of hours of sleep and then giving myself the same time until the important session of the weekend.
Yeah, similar to Carlos, it's a real challenge for the body. Such a big shift from Europe, and of course we have to shift back when we go to Qatar next week. So it's difficult to get your 8 hours sleep in when it's so offset. So for me, it's also just trying to sleep when you can. So I took, a nap before qualifying, woke up a little bit drowsy, and then made sure I was in peak condition come the end of qualifying. But it's really difficult, but we're all in the same boat.
Did you actually...
Don't put your alarm tomorrow before the race.
Did you actually manage to sleep before quali? You actually slept?
Yeah, I went to sleep because it's, the body's just all over the place, and I'm just trying to sleep when I can and just listen to my body, and if I need to sleep. And there wasn't much to do. The car was feeling good, I was feeling good, so we didn't change the setup at all going into qualifying, so it was sleep was the best thing.
How's it for you?
Yeah, exactly. Similar comments. Maybe shifted a bit later for me compared to Carlos, but I find it was challenging here is the amount of sunlight you get throughout the whole week is just so little that it just makes it kind of strange rhythm because you're in the night, for a full week pretty much. So it's a bit strange, but we get used to it. We know it's tough. It's one of these things where it's almost better not really to think about it because there's nothing we can do. So it's business, just get it done, and then next week's gonna be tough. We're all gonna struggle, but it's gonna be the same for everyone. So just get through it.
Okay, thank you. Yep, let's do another one.
Ben Hunt, Autosport again. Sorry, George, to dig into the sleep stuff. How long did you get? Were you in your driver's room, or did you go back to the hotel? And is it normal that you've done that before?
I mean, to be honest, I'd normally try and probably sort of meditate as opposed to sleep, just sort of close my eyes and listen to, I don't know, waves crashing against the sea, or breathing exercises. I sort of do like box breathing. Works for me. It sort of relaxes my mind and takes a bit of pressure off. But today got probably 45 minutes. So yeah, as I said, it's just adapting every single weekend. And when people ask me like, what's your race weekend routine? The routine changes every single weekend depending on how you slept the night before, the circumstances you find yourself in, and obviously here it's so challenging for everyone, being so offset, working night shift effectively. For me, just sleeping when I can is working for me.
Thank you, George. Right, we'll leave it there. Very well.